Welcome to another Ziva Math video. In this video, we are going to find the slope of a line using the graph, specifically by using a right triangle to identify rise over run. There's more than one reason you might be asked to calculate slope, as it is your constant rate of change, but you must identify the slope of a line to write its equation in slope-intercept form. Let's take a look at our examples. In this example, we're going to be finding the slope, and I'm going to be using rise over run to calculate my slope, which means I'm going to need to identify 2 points that I can use so that I can calculate the rise and the run. And some things to think about when you're choosing points is we want to choose points that are on a grid line, where a place where the grid lines intersect. So I'm going to choose this point here, and then here's another one where my line passes through the intersection of the grid lines. What I don't want to do, for example, is choose a point such as this one. I don't know where exactly this is. Is my x value -1.5? Is it -1 3/4? You don't want to leave any guesswork there, because if you're guessing where this point is located, you're also going to be guessing about the distance for your rise and distance for your run. So I'm going to use these 2 points that are at intersections of the grid lines of my coordinate plane. And that way, when I go to make my right triangle and calculate distances, I'm not being left to any guesswork. So from the first point to get to the second one, I am going to be going up 1, 2. So that distance is 2. So my rise is 2. And then to make my right triangle, I'm going to go to the right 1. And that distance of 1 is my run. So now I have a rise of 2 and a run of 1. So I have 2 over 1 as my slope. And 2 over 1 is equal to 2. So my slope is 2. In this example, I want to find the slope of this line, and I'm going to be using rise over run, as my slope is equal to rise over run. And in order to calculate rise over run, I'm going to need 2 points on this line. And I want to choose points to use that are at the intersection of the grid lines of my coordinate plane. So the first point I'm going to choose is this one. And for my second point, I want to choose something relatively close to the first point that's at the intersection of grid lines. So I'm going to choose this point. Now that I have these 2 points chosen, I can calculate my rise and calculate my run. So if I start at the first point, in order to get to the second one and make that right triangle, I'm going down, and I went down 1. So that's -1, and so my rise is -1. Then I'm going over 2 to the right. So that's a distance of 2, so my run is 2. So now I know that rise over run is equal to -1/2. So my slope is equal to -1/2. In this example, I need to find the slope of this line, and I'm going to find the slope using rise over run, which means I need 2 points on this line so I can make the right triangle so I can determine what the rise is and what the run is. So the first point I'm going to choose is this one. I'm choosing a point that is on the line at the intersection of 2 of the grid lines of my coordinate plane, and the other point I'm going to choose is this one. It doesn't matter which 2 points you choose, as long as you're choosing points that are at the intersection of grid lines of your coordinate plane. Once I choose my 2 points, I can determine my rise and my run by creating a right triangle. And to make that right triangle, I'm going to be going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this distance here was 6. That's going to be my rise. Then to finish out my right triangle, I'm going to be going to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that distance is 8, and that is my run. So right now I have a rise over run of 6 over 8. And I can think about this as being a fraction, and if it's 6 over 8, I can simplify. And if you can simplify, you need to. So 6 and 8 are both divisible by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So my rise over run is equal to 3 over 4. So my slope is equal to 3/4. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to Ziva Math for more videos.